What's up, everybody? It's mchenrycruiser, aka the Joe Rogan Slayer. That's my new nickname. That's my MMA name. If I were to fight in MMA, they would call me McHenry, the Joe Rogan Slayer Cruiser. And I'll tell you why that is. If you go back to the original Adam Carolla versus Occupy Wall Street video that I made, you'll notice in the song lyrics, it's Eminem. It's an Eminem song. I alluded to a crab in the bucket. That's what I alluded to. And what that is a person that is willing to pull down the entire company for his own best interest, meaning that he's willing to destroy the company from within, just simply to be the best. And this whole thing that I told you about was about not being the best, that there was no best. And unfortunately, Joe Rogan was in fact the crab in the bucket, and I had to prove that to you. I had to find a way. And as I told you, there is a way to win every fight. You just have to make the correct strategy, the correct plan. Okay, so that's what I had to do. So, I have created what is called the Joe Rogan Theory. And what that is it's proving my original theory correct. Because as I've told you before, Joe Rogan does something stupid over and over and over again, and he always will. I told you that already. So what he did today was he went and he got several podcasters to dedicate their entire podcast episodes, not just for today, but for the last, I think, for the last few days. We'll just leave it at that. They've dedicated their entire podcast episodes to me. They're telling stories about, they're alluding to me. They're telling stories as if it was about somebody else, but they're alluding to me. People who did that were, in fact, I'm slipping my mind right now. Adam Carolla did that. He called me a rat. So they had a conversation about rats, alluding to somebody being a rat, meaning that I was the rat, in fact, that I ratted out Joe Rogan. When in fact, listen, I didn't rat out anybody. I slayed a dragon, is what I did. I slayed a bully. I beat up a bully. That's what I did. I eliminated the crab in the bucket. And it's what I had to do for the good of the company. Because he's pulling the company down. Just like he tried to pull me down. So, there was a variety of different podcasters. Adam Carolla actually changed his mind after viewing my videos in the video where I said that I wanted to get Joe Rogan's job back. But if you do go back and watch that video, I also planted a seed in your mind. I said that we needed checks and balances, that I couldn't have absolute power. And what I was telling you was not to give Joe Rogan his job back. And you didn't. So, that's psychology for you. That's what it is. So now, as I stated before, he went and got several podcasters to dedicate their entire podcast episodes for the last week to alluding to me and insulting me, proving that in a fight, it's who they like the most and who they hate the most, and that they would forget everything else. The fact that it was actually Joe Rogan who started it. He bullied me. I never said a bad thing about Joe Rogan. And that didn't matter to them. It's who they like the most and who they hate the most. So who they liked the most in this fight was, in fact, Joe Rogan. Who they hated the most was me. And since they dedicated several podcast episodes to that situation between Joe Rogan and I, that delivered the fight message to their entire audience fan base. Mark Maron did it. He called me an identity theft person, a person who steals people's identity. And then he tried to out-psychology me. He tried to ninja my brain using psychology and stated that there was a check on the way and I could have bought a new house, but because of this, I wasn't going to get that. Well, I'm going to wipe my ass with that check if it does get here and mail it back, bitch. Okay? And so there was several other. Bill Burr actually sided with me. So not everybody is going to side with the bully. Not everybody's going to choose. Some people are going to use intelligence and logic and thought. Thank you, Bill Burr. So he did get a number of podcasters. As I stated, you go through there. You find the Adam Carolla episode where he called me a rat. That was last week at some point. But I do appreciate that he then changed his mind. But I would just like to tell Adam Carolla, do the work. Okay, because you didn't do the work. I think you had somebody else do the work, and for that reason, you made a mistake. And that's what happened. And that's what happens when you have absolute power. You make mistakes. So, there you go. That's Joe Rogan Theory. I knew, number one, he does something stupid over and over again. I proved that. He did another stupid thing. He said he didn't give a fuck about losing his UFC job. And then he went out and he proved my theory, because I knew he was going to then, after he lost his job, he was going to demand evidence. That's just what he does. Okay, that's what his sci-fi show was about and whatnot. So he was going to demand evidence. And so he went out and he got the evidence for me, which was selling the fight. Getting these different podcasters to prove the theory that it's who you like the most and who you hate the most. They liked Joe Rogan the most. They hated me the most. But thank you, Adam and Bill Burr, though, for liking me the most. And because that was the accurate choice, if you watch the videos. And if you go back to the Louis C.K. videos where I did that whole fight example for you, you will see that I described everything that happened this week, that it is who you like the most, who you hate the most. And that's what sells tickets to fights, and that's what fills arenas, and that's what you got to do. Some of you just got to be the bad guy, like me. And like I said, I just like that better, being the bad guy. So as I've stated before, I knew, number one, Joe Rogan's the crab in the bucket, and he is one of the main reasons he's bringing your company down. And I knew he would demand evidence, and also that he does something dumb over and over again. And he went out and he actually brought the evidence to me, and if you compare that evidence to the Louis C.K. String of videos, you will see that is exactly what happened. And he proved that that is the correct theory, and that the new way is the way to go. And I am sorry, but that also proves that Joe Rogan is in fact a bully. He got his podcast friends to join in the bullying, and that's what's known as sheep mentality. And I urge you to Google what sheep mentality is, and to know that Joe Rogan is in fact a bully, and he did in fact prove that he was a bully, and he proved that it's who you like the most and who you hate the most, and that's why it's called the Joe Rogan Theory. Thank you.